Profit is brought to you by StopToShop.com, and they've got a handful of specials for the upcoming season of Pokemon. They've got Pokemon pack codes for the soon-to-be live Pokemon Trading Card Game Online program, and the prices for all Heart Gold, Soul Silveron single cards have been cut. In addition, click on the link in my description and get a 10% discount on your full order at checkout. If you're looking for cards, make the stop. It's Stop to Shop. Hey everybody, it's JWittz here from the Pokemon Trading Card Game show Profit, and as promised, we've got here a full battle video between me and my friend Carver. And special about this video is not only that I'm trying to start up a new series every Sunday of just showing you guys a live recorded match, but in addition to that, this is also special because I was granted permission by both David Cohen and Ross Cawthon to use their decks that they played for Worlds. Now, David Cohen took first and Ross Cawthon took second for the 2011 World Championship for the Masters Division. And so, to start things off, I thought it'd be special to show you guys the deck list that they played. So, I'm starting off with Ross's, since this is the list that everybody's talking about. It's very, very unique. Here it is. Now, there's not too much to talk about that I haven't talked about already. It runs a lot of unique things, and that's what made it very special. And as you see in this video, it's very hard to play against a deck that runs so many unique cards if you're not used to it already. It runs the 3/2/2 Reuniclus to move damage counters, the 3/2/2 Vileplume to lock, Donphan, Entei Suicune Legend, and Zekrom as attackers, and the 1/1 Blissey Prime is for healing, along with some other things. Pichu and Cleffa set up. It has a variety of energy to provide for all these different types of Pokemon, in particular the 4 Rainbow Energy and 4 Double Colorless. And the trainer line is mainly using twins to catch up when you've fallen behind, and when you're ahead, Sage's training to go deep into your deck and get the few cards that you need. Now, moving on to David Cohen's list for Magnabor. You might notice that it looks a little bit different than the Magnezone M-Board lists that were kind of cookie cutter and seen before it kind of fell out of popularity. One of those big changes is running 2 Reshiram, which can be really strong against Yanmega and other decks like that, where you can knock out the Pokemon pretty easily. Reshiram's easy to set up as just a basic, and it gives you the option to both discard energy and loss on them with Magnezone, giving you a better late game because you have more resources left. Still runs the 1/1 Rayquaza Deoxys Legend for taking 2 prizes at a time. Runs 2 Cleffa for setup, which is a pretty medium number. It's not the standard 1, and it's not giant like the 4 that most decks were running at the beginning. The trainer line is also special because it runs 3 twins. So this is an interesting matchup to see in the finals because both of these decks were reliant on twins to catch up after falling behind right away. So having 2 decks play against each other can be a very interesting matchup, and it definitely played out that way at Worlds. Aside from that, the only other interesting thing that I find is the 2 Rescue Energy, which lets you reset, and as you'll see later, it's actually pretty good against Trainer Line. So without further ado, now I could talk about these decks for a while, make a full video of them, but I think that sometimes the best way to learn a deck is to just see it straight up in action, so let's see it straight up in action. Here's our game. Now Carver is playing David Cohen's Magnabor, and I'm playing Ross Cawthon's deck. Well, that's just what everybody's calling it. So we both set up, and one thing I'll apologize to you guys for right away is that I have a little bit of a glare in the active position, and it's actually a lot of bit of glare. In the active and next to the active when I play trainers and supporters, I'll do my best to explain to you guys what's going on as we play, and hopefully it won't get too confusing. Again, this is a very new kind of video for me, so I'm still trying to figure everything out, but I will definitely do my best to keep making things better and help you guys learn through video. So there's the coin flip, and I believe I go first. I'm starting with Pichu, and you can still see Pichu right now through the glare. Sometimes it's worse than others with holographic cards. I'm playing on my Worlds mat that I got, and Carver is playing on his custom-made, horrible-looking SpongeBob mat. It's really repulsive, but I think that's the point of it. I start off with a communication. I put in an extra Pichu in my hand into my deck. And I'm searching, I believe, for a Cleffa here, because my hand is not very good. Yeah, I do take the Cleffa. Still look to see what else is prized. Unfortunately, getting Cleffa here means that I can't get an Oddish and get early trainer lock going, but my hand is just really bad, and I have to have more cards to even work with. Otherwise, I can't even play through the game. So I do get Cleffa. Free retreat with Pichu to Cleffa, and fall asleep to Eek. Shuffle my hand in my deck and draw 6 cards. Right now, Cleffa is a strong card. It's in almost every deck, and it can work in every deck. The only reason to not play it is if you're afraid of being knocked out by Tyrogue. And I stay asleep in between turns, meaning that both Cleffa's body will prevent any damage done to me during Carver's turn, even though he's a slower deck and probably can't deal any damage. But if I flip sleep again, he'll be stuck on my turn and I won't be able to retreat. So I draw my new 6, and Carver starts off strong with Pokemon Collector, letting him get 3 basic Pokemon of his choice. Now, one thing I will say is, obviously we're still learning this matchup, but this is the first time Carver had ever played the deck, and first time he had ever seen the complete list. So this is a pretty good example of how a game in Swiss might have gone when Ross was playing and nobody really knew exactly how the deck's full strategy worked and the best way to tackle it. He goes for a Magnemite, a Reshiram, and Tepig. And benches all 3. And looking at his hand, he has no energy, which definitely does set him back a little bit. It means he won't be able to attack Magnezone on his next turn, and that's definitely going to give me a little bit more room to work with, because I was not able to get the Vileplume out right away. Now, normally against decks that can snipe, like Yanmega, I'd try and get multiple copies of Oddish out just to make sure that I can get Vileplume out right away, but I know that David Cohen's deck doesn't run any reversals, or even if it is a Magnabore deck, they normally run a very low reversal count, and I also know that because he has an attached energy, that it's very unlikely that he'll be able to get any damage on the board on his turn. I play Professor Oak's new theory to shuffle my hand into my deck and draw 6 cards. And I've also evolved to Donphan, by the way, who's one of the deck's main attackers, and will definitely be taking a prize on that Magnemite on my turn. So fairly fast for a slower deck to have a turn 2 attacker like that. I draw my 6. I play Pokemon Communication. Put in a Solosis. And I get a Duosion. Just the second stage of Solosis trying to work its way to Reuniclus so that I can start preventing Carver from leaving damage on my Pokemon that I don't want knocked out. I attach a Rainbow Energy to Donphan, which puts 1 counter on him. I retreat the Cleffa, bring up Donphan, and I look at my options one last time. I debate dropping Zekrom on the bench and decide that it's better off leaving that space blank in case I decide to change strategies. And I go for the Earthquake. Earthquake for 1 fighting energy does 60 damage, and you put 10 damage on all your own bench Pokemon. Now, normally this would be a bad thing, but because the deck aims to move damage counters and abuse Zekrom, it's actually kind of helpful for you. Now, because I was not able to get a very early trainer lock off, he's able to Rare Candy into Magnezone, and he Junk Arms. He debates which 2 cards he wants to discard, decides to drop 1 Energy Retrieval because he knows trainer lock is going to be pretty soon. Decides to hold the Fisherman for the same reason, so that he has a way to get energies back. And he takes a Rare Candy back. He's trying to get an Emboar at this point. He uses Magnezone's Power Magnetic Draw to draw until he has 6 cards in his hand. And he's stalling, looking at his hand, which means he probably did not get the Emboar that he wanted. So he plays Professor Oak's New Theory, same as I did on my turn. Shuffle his hand into his deck and draw 6 cards. I cut and Carver draws. And it looks like you just drew a bunch of energy. And I didn't know this at the time when we were playing, but it's definitely a terrible hand. He passes because there's nothing he can do, and I draw. I play a Sage's Training, which is the deck's main draw engine aside from the Twins. Look at the top 5 cards of my deck, and discard 2 of my choice. I have both the Suicune Entei Legend halves in those 5 cards, but it's not a very good card in this matchup. It's great against knocking out fire Pokemon, but the ×2 weakness to lightning gives Magnezone an easy 2 prizes on you for just throwing 2 energy with Lost Burn. So I decided to dump those. And also a Rainbow Energy. And in turn, I keep the Gloom and the Pokemon Communication. I think I was looking for a rare candy at that point. I had one rare candy. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the second game. I was still looking for a rare candy to try and get up to Vileplume on this turn, but I settled for Gloom and playing the Communication to put, I believe, a Vileplume back into my deck and evolve into Reuniclus. I had a Vileplume in my hand, so I was looking for rare candy, but just didn't have one in. Now, this Reuniclus is pretty early, and definitely helps against his deck, especially with the spot he's in right now. When I play Reuniclus, I can move damage counters around as often as I like during my turn. And I also already have 3 energy on Donphan, meaning that I can now deal 90 damage instead of just the 60, which isn't a very good number against the 130 HP Reshiram. So I move the damage counter a little bit, and I decide to put the 90 on him. Now, the reason I put the 90 instead of the 60 on him is because it will kind of lure him into this false sense of wanting to do a lot of damage with Reshiram's Outrage, which does 20 damage plus the amount of damage counters that you have on you. So he can attach just 1 energy and end up doing 110 damage, although that won't knock me out, and it'll only do 90 damage to me. I can still move all that damage around to my bench with Reuniclus, making Zekrom a lot stronger later. So it just gives me a little bit more damage to work around, and despite the fact that doing just 60 damage could put 10 on all my own bench, I think that I can get a couple more in by dealing the 90 to him. He does his Magnetic Draw, and he ends up hitting the Twins. And because I had a rare start where I got an early advantage, he can use this Twins to get him out the rare candy and the Emboar right away, which is a really big deal. If I'm able to get the trainer lock before he gets Emboar, he has to evolve up through Pignite, and I believe the deck only runs 1 Pignite. It can really hurt. So him getting out the Emboar now fairly early does make it a pretty interesting game. Plays the candy for Emboar. And now all those energy in his hand don't look that bad. See, now he's definitely debating attacking me for more damage. The other reason that I thought it was a good idea to deal 90 to him first instead of the 60 is because it would force him to put extra attachments on Reshiram and maybe focus on attacking with him more. And honestly, I don't think Reshiram is the best attacker in this situation because he can't take knockouts once Donphan is up with Reuniclus. So really all he can do is put more damage on my board, and it kind of distracts him from trying to get some more energy for Magnezone. He plays the energy retrieval in his hand to get 2 more energy back. Attaches Debate's attaching anyways. 2 to the active. And I'm honestly not sure what he decides on. It's definitely not a great play to attach to him. Yeah, he decides not to. Decides to save the energy. And he uses 1 on Magnemite and another. By the way, I don't realize if I announced this yet, but the Embor's ability lets you attach as many fire energy as you like during your turn. So, from this point forward, he can attach as many fire energy as he likes, giving him a lot more speed and a lot better option to knock me out with some of his bigger Pokemon like Magnezone. While Trainer Lock can be really strong, if he gets enough energy, it's hard for me to prevent him from taking big prizes over and over again. So I move all that damage onto the Zekrom, like I was talking about earlier. And I decide to hit him for 90 damage and take a prize. At this point, I've already got enough damage on the field to fully load up Zekrom for his biggest attack. I only need 3 more counters on him to do it. So at that point, using Earthquake to put more damage on the field just isn't needed. He draws and promotes the Magnemite with 2 energy on him. Attaches to the Magnemite.